What's going on, guys? Today I'm actually taking a request video from my buddy Bam in Brazil. I love you, man. Subject we're going to cover today are 2 exercises that you should end your workouts with. We're going to target the low back and the core. So before we even jump into the exercises, let's talk about why you need to end your workouts with these exercises, okay? These are 2 areas that many people who are either just starting to work out or have gotten into a routine for a long time tend to neglect, especially the low back. So these are areas we need to strengthen if we're going to protect ourselves from injuries. So maybe you've suffered from this before. You've had a day of lifting or you twisted wrong and boom, your low back just goes, it hurts, right? It feels like it just tightens up really hard and hurts to move, and just maybe a bit of sharp pain. Well, I want to explain why that happens. So let's think of this right here as our low back, okay? And the red band is going to be nerves, nerve endings that come out of our low back. Imagine my fists as the discs in your spine, okay? Think about when we're doing exercises and we're putting a lot of weight through our spine tends to compress, right? Which is normal. We have to do that. Everyday life, we compress. When we sit, we compress. Now imagine that load without muscles to support it and hold it into place where it should be. Sometimes our spines can shift a bit and start to rub and irritate the nerve where it shouldn't be. This is a very crude example, but I just want to give you an idea of what's going on. Now think about if your low back's weak. When you're loading up your body to exercise, you can't hold your discs in place, right? So there's going to be a lot more extra movement where there shouldn't be, and there's going to be a lot more irritation. But when your nervous system picks up the fact that you're rubbing against the nerve, especially under load, the muscles around the area just tighten down, right? And they don't want you to move. Your nerves are vitally important, so if you're damaging your nerves, your body wants to protect it. This usually happens in the low back. Say we're doing a lift and we don't have the strength in our core or in our low backs to keep our spine from shifting. Our body senses that and it freaks out. It tightens our muscles down so that everything is held into place and you don't do any more damage. That's what's going on here. And many people neglect these areas in their workouts. They really just want to train the superficial muscles. This routine I'm about to show you is going to help strengthen that. So it's not going to take up a lot of time, and it's going to help strengthen these areas consistently so that you're able to protect your low back while you're lifting. Because let's face it, when we're doing a lot of lifts or exercises in general, our entire core has to stabilize our body while we're doing these. If we don't stabilize our body right, we're just asking for an injury. So if you've tweaked your low back recently, check out this video. I go step by step how to make that pain go away instantly. So for the first exercise, we're gonna go ahead and get into a normal plank position. Now before I go ahead and make this exercise a lot harder, I want you to make sure if you're new to this exercise that you can hold a regular plank for at least 45 seconds. If you can't, then you really need to train this until you're doing a perfect plank for at least 45 seconds. There's no point in even moving on if you can't hold this for 45 seconds, okay? So once you've got this down, this is how we're going to start training the plank. From a normal plank position, all I want you to do is walk your feet back while keeping that posterior pelvic tilt that you should have during a plank, and just take a few steps back. What this is gonna do is increase the lever you have posted. So basically increasing the distance from your feet and your elbows. And where is all that tension gonna go? Straight to your abs. So walk it back to what is tolerable and then hold this position. A good way to track your progress with this is to have a regular spot where you do this and kind of mark how far you're stepping back. You wanna get as far as you can possibly get and hold it for as long as you can. This is just a progression exercise. You don't have to go all out every single time, but what this is gonna do is really train your core to withstand that force and that tension that is going to transfer through your body when you're doing a lot of lifts and exercises, and be able to hold your low back and your core tight and steady so you're not getting any shifting movement in that spine. So let me be clear, if you're doing a plank and you do have pain in the low back, you're doing the plank wrong, okay? You need to make sure that you have this movement here, this posterior pelvic tilt, that you are locking that in and you're not moving whatsoever. If you're sagging in the hips or anything like that, you're doing this wrong. And basically you're accelerating that injury that I've been discussing before. Okay, so once you've got that down, I want you to do about 3 sets of that, about 45 seconds each. If you step back and you feel like you're gonna collapse, go ahead and just walk yourself forward into a regular plank and finish the set, okay? You don't have to just die out there. You can just move yourself back into a normal plank position, finish out the set. This isn't for you to just go crazy and try to Superman through. This is just to make sure that your core is staying tight and that you know this position so that when you're doing your lifts, you can keep your core tight and your low back from injury. All right, so moving on to the next exercise. This one is going to target your low back directly, and it's a killer. I love this exercise, I do it all the time. And all we're gonna call it is a laying low back extension. So you can really do this anywhere at home. You can do it off of a table, off your bed, off a chair, anything like that. Just all you need is a flat surface to lay on and hook onto. And this is what the exercise looks like. All you're doing is taking your feet and pushing them straight towards the wall. We're not hyperextending or going really high. We're just taking our feet, pushing them straight out, and then bringing them right back in. This is really gonna get your low back firing, and it's gonna target the glutes as well. If you're doing this and you just feel your feet going down lower and lower and lower, then you really need to work on your low back. I see this in a lot of my clients. Their low backs are just not as strong as they should be. This one is pretty self-explanatory. Kick your feet out, hold it for about 2 to 3 seconds, then bring it back in, and then kick your feet out, 2 to 3 seconds, bring it back in. All we're gonna do is 3 sets of 12, okay? Now, after a few weeks of this, it's probably gonna get pretty easy. You're probably gonna knock this out with no problem. Good, you're strengthening your low back, but we shouldn't stop progressing our low back strength after that. So all you're gonna do is grab a light dumbbell, put it between your feet, and as you're doing this, just kick your feet out. Make sure you're stabilizing that weight out there. It's gonna be a lot harder, and then you're bringing it right back in, doing it the exact same way. This low back exercise is great. I love this. I use this all the time, and I've progressed quite far doing this exercise. When I was a bit more of a novice lifter, I would always tweak my low back doing exercises like deadlifts and stuff, and it's just because I didn't have the low back strength to do everything, and I wasn't holding my core tight. So if you follow these exercises and start to do these more at the end of your workout, just to strengthen these areas, then it's going to be very beneficial down the road and having a lifelong healthy back. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you guys are being safe. We're sending love to you out here from Kansas City. I know it's a weird situation, but you guys stay safe, spend some time with your family, and hopefully this whole situation passes very, very quickly, all right? If you enjoyed the video, share it with your friends. I'm sure plenty of people could definitely use these 2 exercises to help them out, especially if they're having some low back pain. Like I said, if you've had that tweaked low back feeling, I made a video on how to fix that, so that will be linked at the end, and make sure you subscribe. I got more videos coming out. See you guys next time.